Okay, in this video we're going to talk about how do you get your view set up from your assembly like this to your drawings like this. So here is the orthographic projection of the assembly, and then we are also going to take a look at the exploded view. How do you get your parts and pieces to explode and then to set up a parts list? So let's go ahead and dive on in. Okay, in this assembly, this is where you went ahead and I use this competition board so that you could set up your Hydrobot to make sure everything fit and moved and worked, and you could see everything here. Now, you guys were not responsible for syringes and the like, but you did have to manage a few other things on this board. However, when you want to go ahead and set this up onto a drawing, you don't want to see the board, you don't want to see the pipe, you don't want to see any of that. You just want to see the arm. Okay, so how do we deal with this? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up what is called a level of detail. All right, a representation. This is a view master. Now, what I'm going to do is this is what your assembly tree looks like over here, your browser, and this is going to be underneath of the representations folder. So hit the plus. Then you're going to go into level of detail and hit the plus. Now you can see that I got different levels of detail already set up in here. And what this is going to do is after we make a level of detail and click on the detail level, double click on it, and then what happens is what I don't want disappears and what I want remains. So let's go ahead and start setting that up. So I'm going to go back up here to my master level, and now I can start changing it up. So what we'll do is up here it says level of detail master. I'm going to right click on that and create a new level of detail. So click on that option, and here that's the level that becomes active, and it says level of detail 2. I'm going to go ahead and just click on that twice, not a double click fast, but just 2 clicks left, slow, and I'm going to go ahead and put on here video, because that's what I'm doing this for. And in this particular level of detail, I'm going to go ahead and suppress all these features I don't want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and start selecting these things, right click, and then hit suppress. So they're gone. All right. Now, I can also do it over here where I can start running up that line and then hit suppress and they disappear. So there's a few ways you can go about doing this. Fairly easy to get things isolated. All right. So you go ahead and you isolate what you want to see. With that said, your level of detail has been created. I'm going to hit save just so it's now all part of the assembly. Now I can start looking at going to my drawing sheet. So this is your standard Form 5 title block, and one of the first things we'll do if you haven't done this yet is you need to change the sheet size. So I believe that I said you need to work with a C size sheet, so we'll go ahead and set that up by right clicking, edit sheet, change that to C size, and you're set. Now what we can do is let's go in and let's go ahead and grab that drawing file. So that's my assembly board, and that's the assembly board that I'm working on here today. And we'll go ahead and set that scale because I could definitely go bigger. Obviously 1:1 is not going to work, but let's do, or I'm sorry, 1:1. That's not going to work if I'm going to do right front and top. So let's pull that back and go 1:2, and we'll start setting up the orthographic views of that particular object. So there we go. They're set. Now let's go ahead, annotate. We'll go right in, we'll grab that parts list. And I'm going to select this view because then it will pull that information right there from selecting the view to grab the file. And we're going to go ahead and hit OK and drop this in position. Now, one of the things you want to take a look at is what is it actually reading? Okay, so this is seeing, I see base, center bowl, receiver pipe. I don't see all my parts. Okay, so delete that parts list that was there. Grab parts list again. Grab the file again. Make sure it's pulling there. There's my assembly. That's what I'm working on. And then we want to come in here and we want to change this from a structure to let's do parts only. Okay. And with that set up as parts only, hit OK. And now when we drop this in position, I've got everything. Still, I also see the base, the center bowl, receiver pipe. I don't need all that stuff. Okay. As I come down through here, some of the stuff is part of this arm and some is not. It's part of the full assembly that I hid or suppressed. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to double click on this parts list, and we're going to go in and turn off the visibility. So left click, right click, visibility. All right, left click, right click, whoops, turn off the visibility. All right, so you just start working your way down through here. Left click, right click, center bowl, we don't need that. We're going to go in here and get rid of the receiver pipe. Anything in here that you don't want to see, get rid of. I want the swivel, bottom shaft, hip, arm, stick, plunger, plunger mount. No, I don't need those things. That's all part of the syringe stuff. So we're going to get rid of all those parts. Plunger, syringe body, we don't need that. Any of this stuff we don't need to see. Let's go ahead and get rid of. And then we hit apply, and presto, we just change this up. This is the stuff I need. All right, so I can go ahead and start putting my balloons on this part right away and continue to create my drawing file. All right, so make sure you go ahead and then balloon all your parts in this entire file in every view so that you can make sure that in every view these parts are being identified. All right, so as you do this, this is going to be a left click, a right click, and then continue. All right, so you're going to go ahead and click. You're going to come up left click, right click, continue to make sure you get that little elbow. So left click, right click, continue, and then work your way around all the drawings, all the parts. All right, so I'm not going to go through all this. Fairly simple at this point using the balloons. Let's go ahead and let's start talking about the exploded view. So this is the exploded view that I set up before. So that's all set and ready to go. And here is the exploded view IPN presentation file. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to set it up. So we're going to go File, New, come down here, Standard, Inch, IPN. This is the Inventor presentation file. We'll hit Create. And now it immediately asks you, what do you want to put on here? So let's go ahead and find the file that we want. So we're talking assembly board 1230. That's what I've been working on. And hit Open. And what comes in is the actual object at that level of detail. All right, so that's all set for us. And what we should be able to do now is turn this so we can find the exact isometric view that you want to work with. Remember, always work in isometric views when working with these exploded view drawings. Okay, so set that isometric view, corner. Then we grab our tweak components. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the parts that I want to tweak first. So I grab that shaft for the stick arm, and I'm going to left click, hold, and drag out. All right, perfect. And then I'm done that. Oh, the little green check is hidden underneath of there. So can I get that? There it is. There's a little green check that was hidden. I'll show you again. Tweak components, grab the arm, left click, hold, drag out. There's the green check. Check it out. All right, now keep going and then take the shaft, and we'll go ahead and slide the shaft back out of here like so. Green check. Now you'll see it's overlapping. I don't want things to overlap, but I know that what I'm going to be doing is pulling this boom arm up so it's out of the way. Now, don't be afraid to pull things down or pull two things at the same time. So if I grab the base, zoom in a little, hold down Shift, grab that center base shaft, tweak components, left click, pull down, make sure it's not overlapping. And this I'm going to give myself a little extra room here because my plan then is to go ahead and grab that shaft again, tweak components, and push this up into position. There we go. All right, so that's all set. We'll hit green check on that. And you can see now everything has been pulled apart the way that this would be put together. Now, this is a sub-assembly. I'll have to do this as a separate unit and create a separate drawing for that, but that's okay. So now make sure, you save your drawing. All right, so I'm going to put this in here and just do this as video. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and hit this button, New Snapshot View. By doing that, that new snapshot pops up right over here, and then we can then use this on our drawing file. All right, so let's go back out to our Hyderabad sheet. This is our the one we just set up. So this is our sheet 1. Go ahead and right click over here, and let's go right click and let's get new sheet. There's our new sheet, size sheet, C sheet, place views, base, and let's go find there's my exploded view. We'll go ahead and make this as a 1 to 2. Pull that into position and hit OK. Fantastic. Now we're ready to go ahead, annotate, and we'll do a parts list also. And we'll see, it already says parts only. That's nice. Hit OK, and then it drops into position. Now, got to go back in and get rid of all the stuff that we're not using. So unfortunately, this can become a little bit of a labor-intensive scenario. But what is nice about this whole thing is that when we built our parts were far easier to build, because we did not need to go jumping back and forth between drawing files. We could build within the same file. So a few things here on the tail end that we needed to manage, turning things on and off, but really not a horrible situation. All right, so there we go. And then, of course, balloons, and we'll start working out the balloon situation here, making sure everything gets tagged so that you can identify all your parts and pieces in your final assembly. All right, so don't forget isometric, angle, balloons. One of the last things I also want you to make sure you have, edit the view, make sure your label is turned on. So make sure that light bulb is on, and then you can go in and edit this label, delete the view, go into properties of the model, go in here and find your file name and formula enter, and the file name can pop up, and then here's your file name so that you can always identify each sheet and scale on the sheet. So don't forget information on the title block and ballooning the rest of this, and this should tidy this up. The other things you definitely need to do for your working drawing are your orthographics of each part. So take a look at finishing that up. So hopefully this helps you guys get moving.